Brexit UK. It's funny because with Batmug, she's from Romania. A lot of the rhetoric was about Romanian workers in shops, and there's a Romanian worker in a shop who's embodying this Brexit nightmare, which is not on my mind at all. Batman's an old friend. I mean, I worked with her from my first film onwards, and yeah, but there was a danger. Someone can see this as a pro-Brexit film. Scary, isn't it? It shows you can't control how people see your work.
The movie in itself is different in tone from your previous movies. It feels much more comedic in a way. Did you set out to write a comedy from the start, or?
No. I mean, yeah, when you write something, I think the tone finds itself as you're going along. I think it was very important to show Marianne's character going through all this frustration at home and at work. I didn't want to, I don't see her as a consumerist. I think anyone would buy a dress in her situation. I certainly would. So yeah, you want to show her frustration at work, and it can easily become very earnest and self-pitying. But I think if you introduce humour, it kind of becomes a bit more cathartic. But that's real life. I mean, those white-collar jobs, I mean, they're pretty much like that. It's slightly exaggerated, but not so much. And also, I mean, working in a shop, it's a lot of the language is euphemistic. It's a performance, greeting the public. I used to work at. Do you ever see in Belgium TGI Fridays? I used to work there, and on a Saturday morning, we'd have to greet the public, which is. It didn't really work in the UK. Everyone just came in like, what the fuck? But, maybe it works in America, but I don't know if they still do that now.
Okay, are there any questions from the audience? Just raise your hand. Give you a mic.
Sorry. No, the black-haired woman who seems connected to the dress. I was wondering if she was inspired by Delphine Seyrig in Daughters of Darkness. That was the one thing that she reminded me of. I wasn't sure.
No, but I heard the hotel from that film is just around the corner from here. It's really funny you say that, because I bought the soundtrack quite recently, the François de Roubaix soundtrack, because it wasn't available until quite recently. No, I mean, it's a great film. I love that film, but I'm trying to think. I mean, there were not many film references for this film. I mean, I usually do, like my last two films especially. Well, actually, all three films before this were crammed full of references. And with this one, this came more out of a specific old department store in my hometown of Reading, which had those money shoots. And when I was a kid, my mother used to take me there, and you just see lots of these, because it's mainly for middle-aged women. You'd see them, just the movement of women shopping. You'd see them queue jumping, you'd see them stealing, and it was wonderful. So, these very thick white carpets which muffled the sound, and the catalogues, this very thin, glossy paper. So a lot of it came from that. I mean, maybe Keen Holtz, the sculptor, his mannequin sculptures. I mean, mannequins were like a big deal when I was growing up. They were everywhere. So, yeah, I guess it was coming from that, I suppose.
Any other questions?
Yeah.
Two quick questions. One, had you written the role for Marianne Jean-Baptiste as a black character? Did that come in the casting? And how did you select Captain Van Time to sound to the track?
That role could be anyone really. All I knew is it had to be a woman in her 50s. I mean, that was, I think, with a teenage son, that whole setup. I mean, I can't believe I say this. It was quite difficult to get money. Marianne's not a star. So you know, I'm not going to name names, but when you go to a financier and say, oh, have you thought about, you know, you can think of 50-year-old women who are stars, you know, in Britain, so it was that kind of conversation. I mean, I was quite lucky because we couldn't go to the BFI because I had another project with them, but it got to the point where we just asked them if we could swap projects. So Marion was already cast at that point. I mean, yeah, the race thing doesn't really, it doesn't really come into it. It's, she's Sheila, that's what she is. Kevin of Antimatter, I was a big fan of Stereolab. I kind of grew up with their music. I mean, so much I discovered, not just in music, but in film, was from Stereolab. And I approached him. I did a record with him. I put out one of his records. And so he came on quite early. I mean, actually before I even had a script. So he was doing these long drones for me to write to. And you start, you know, listen to them, and then you start thinking about washing machines, and it kind of comes out that way, really, you know.
There was a question.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I wonder, when you write your script, how do you know it will be right in the mouth of the actors?
It depends. So with Miss Luckmore, who works in the shop, that was Fatma. That was number one. It had to be Fatma. So that was very easy in a way. I had her voice in mind. With Sheila, I didn't know who I was going to cast. I mean, apart from her age. So when we offered it to Marianne, I adjusted it slightly, not a huge amount. So I think most with this film, most of the actors came after I wrote it. I didn't really have like the bank managers. I can't remember now. So I did a radio play with both Julian and Steve from separate plays. But yeah, I think once you have an actor, you always do slight adjustments in terms of, you know, how they speak and so on.
For me, it was the most English film I've seen in as long as I can remember, and I'm not from England at the moment. But also, everything about it was the worst of England, and every character, except Sheila, was just the worst of Englishness. And I wonder whether that is your implicit or inherent sort of pissed offness at Britain because of their attitude.
Oh, well, I mean, I kind of disagree. I mean, I had to love the main characters. They're not perfect, they're all flawed, but I love Babs. I mean, she's feisty, but I mean, she's got some great qualities. She's loyal. I love Reg. But yeah, I mean, the whole background, it's the background which is a bit mean. You know, the stag weekends. Do you get them in Brussels? British stag weekends?
Yeah, a lot.
They're pretty intense, aren't they? It's always the father who's the worst behaved because they've got to make up for being a lot older, so they really over-egg it. Yeah, I mean, I can accept the criticism.
No, it was good for that.
Okay. Yeah, I guess because I live in Hungary, and sometimes I have to fly on a Friday from London back to Hungary, and I learned not to fly on a Friday because, well, it depends. I usually fly EasyJet, so you know, it's crazy on a Friday with stag groups, and when you fly back, they're all passed out. And when I flew back on a Sunday evening, there was one guy who had to get emergency in to kind of wheelchair him off. And he kept saying, "Oh, it was a dirty burger. It was a dirty burger. It wasn't alcohol." So I put that in the script. So don't eat dirty burgers if you go to Budapest. That's the moral of this stag weekend.
Right, the last question.
That's an easy question.
So yeah, I mostly enjoyed your film and also enjoyed your
Mostly, I want to hear about that.
your previous work. But this time I think I see a difference, and I can see connection to other work by other directors of your generation. It actually reminded me of certain films like Boschum and maybe Chris Standard, you know, more in the, maybe in the sense of humor and also a certain criticism. Maybe you also use similar actors. And yeah, having seen last week the American movie Us, which is very interesting from a political point of view. And I'm not taking the thing to Brexit, but I really think there's a new generation, for instance, Ben Whitley, who is your executive producer, also. There's a certain political trend in a certain trend of political in recent British genre of fantastic film. Would you agree on that, or?
So a political...
A political trend, a critical, like a state of the nation, so to speak, which I didn't see in previous movies. It's also very recent. Would you think that genre movies in the UK right now sort of transmit a certain political version? And I'm sorry to, I'm not talking about Brexit.
No, it's fine. We'll make a little swear box. The next person who says Brexit, they have to put €5 in the swear box. I mean, I'll be paying the biggest money, I'm sure. It's hard. I mean, to be honest, did you say Possum? Is that the film you mentioned?
Possum, yeah.
Possum. I haven't seen it actually. Yeah, I heard.
That's yours.
Yeah, no, I've heard of Possum. It's hard. I just haven't seen enough, to be honest. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, with me, it varies film to film. I mean, the film before, I wanted to make a bondage romance. That was very important. My next film is about male sexual energy and hedonism, so I don't really see it as political, but I'm doing a kids' film, so... no, seriously, you know, these are my next... Well, if I'm lucky to get the money, of course. But I'm sure that... I mean, what's going on is so profound in the UK. I'm sure it's going to come out in films. It has to, really. You've got to vent your frustration somehow. I mean, just read the news when you were suffering through this film. I was reading The Guardian, and she's going to try a 4th vote now. More entertaining than this film, that news, isn't it? But yeah. Anyway.
Okay, thank you very much. Give another applause.
Thank you very much for coming. Thank you.